You open your eyes. The ceiling above you isn't white, it's alive. A soft amber glow pulses gently, mimicking the rhythm of sunrise, though the sun hasn't touched this part of the city in decades. Your body knows it's morning before your mind does. Something in the air has changed, a scent, familiar but impossible to place, like bread, but not bread, like earth, but cleaner, warmer. You swing your legs over the edge of the bed. Your feet touch the floor and the surface responds, warming slightly, reading the pressure points of your soles. Everything here responds, everything adapts. You've lived in 2126 long enough to forget what it was like when objects were just objects, when food was just food, when a meal didn't know you before you knew yourself. You walk toward the kitchen, but there's no kitchen. Not the way your great-grandparents would have recognized one. No stove, no refrigerator humming in the corner, no cabinets filled with cans and boxes. Just a smooth counter that runs along one wall, seamless and cool to the touch. A single panel glows faintly in the center. Waiting, you place your hand on it. The panel reads you. Not your fingerprint, you. Your blood chemistry, your sleep quality from the night before, the microbial balance in your gut, the hydration level in your cells. It knows you skipped your evening nutrients yesterday. It knows you've been stressed. It knows your body is craving magnesium, omega-7 fatty acids, and something it categorizes only as comfort. A soft chime. The counter opens, not with a door. It simply parts like water making space. Inside, a shallow dish rises, steam curls upward, carrying that scent again. You look down. The meal is already there. Golden, textured, warm. It looks like nothing you've ever seen, and yet somehow it looks exactly like what you need. This is breakfast, but what is it really? You pick up the utensil that has appeared beside the dish. It's weightless, grown from the same material as the counter itself. You take a bite. The texture is soft, yielding, with a slight resistance that feels almost playful. The flavor blooms slowly. Nutty, sweet, earthy, familiar. There's a memory buried in this taste, but you can't quite reach it. Something from childhood maybe, or before. You chew slowly. This isn't food the way it used to be. It wasn't harvested. It wasn't slaughtered, it wasn't shipped or stored or preserved, it was assembled, molecule by molecule, designed specifically for you at this moment, based on what your body is asking for. The proteins are perfect chains, the fats are calibrated, the micronutrients are woven in at levels your ancestors could only dream of. And yet, something about it feels ancient. You swallow. The question forms in your mind before you can stop it. The same question everyone asks at least once when they first understand what they're eating. Is this real? And if it's not real, does that matter? If it nourishes you, if it satisfies you, if it keeps you alive longer and healthier than any generation before you, does the origin story change the ending? You set the utensil down. Outside your window, the city stretches endlessly. Vertical farms climb toward the clouds. Protein reactors hum beneath the streets. Algae pools shimmer on rooftops, converting carbon into calories. Everyone is eating, right now. Millions of people in millions of rooms, receiving meals designed by systems that know their bodies better than they do. And you wonder, what did people really eat back then, before the soil gave out? Before the oceans warmed past the point of return, before eating became this efficient, this personalized, this strange. You wonder if they were happier or just hungrier. The transition happened slowly, then all at once. That's what the historians say. You've seen the archives, footage from the early 2000s, people pushing metal carts through massive buildings filled with shelves, choosing boxes, choosing cans, choosing meat wrapped in plastic, vegetables shipped from thousands of miles away, fruit picked before it was ripe so it could survive the journey. It looked like abundance, it looked like freedom, but the numbers told a different story. By 2050, the farmland had shrunk by 40%. The pollinators were nearly gone. The water tables had dropped so low that entire regions became uninhabitable, and still people needed to eat 3 meals a day. 7 billion people, then 8 billion, then 9. The old system wasn't just failing, it was impossible. So the scientists went smaller. They stopped thinking about fields and started thinking about cells. They stopped thinking about seasons and started thinking about sequences. If you could understand what food really was, at the molecular level, you could rebuild it from the ground up. You could grow meat without animals. You could synthesize vegetables without soil. You could create nutrition without destruction. The first lab-grown burger was eaten in 2013. It cost $300,000. By 2126, your breakfast cost nothing at all. You stand and walk to the window. The view is the same as yesterday, the same as it will be tomorrow. Towers stacked on towers, each one a self-contained ecosystem. The buildings don't just house people, they feed them. Bioreactors line the walls, cultivating proteins from engineered microbes. Hydroponic systems snake through every floor, growing greens under LED spectrums calibrated for maximum nutrient density. Fungal networks sprawl in the dark spaces between floors, producing compounds that mimic the umami depth of aged cheese, cured meat, fermented miso. Nothing is wasted. Your shower water from this morning is already being filtered, mineralized, and cycled into the algae farms on the roof. The carbon you exhaled in your sleep is being captured and converted into sugars that will become someone else's lunch. The city breathes, it digests, it feeds itself. You place your hand against the glass. Somewhere far below, in the sublevels you've never visited, the foundational systems hum. Massive vats where single-celled organisms multiply in the trillions, their genomes edited to produce exact replicas of proteins that once came from cows, chickens, fish. Precision fermentation, they call it. The microbes eat simple sugars and excrete complex nutrition. They don't suffer. They don't require land, they don't produce methane or waste or disease, they just grow. And from that growth comes everything. The milk in your morning beverage, though no cow was ever milked. The egg protein in your meal bar, though no hen was ever caged. The collagen in your skin supplement, though no animal was ever rendered. It's all identical, molecularly, to what your ancestors ate, but the story behind it is completely different. You turn away from the window. In the corner of your living space, a small plant grows, real soil, real roots. You water it by hand, an act that feels almost ceremonial now. It's a tomato plant. You grew it from a seed you found in a museum exhibit. It's been growing for 3 months, and yesterday you saw the first bloom. You wonder if you'll actually eat the tomato when it comes, or if you'll just keep it. And it's a reminder of what food used to mean: effort, time, uncertainty, the chance that something might fail, might rot, might never ripen at all. There was risk in the old system. There was waste. But there was also a connection, a tactile understanding that what you ate came from somewhere specific, from soil and sun and the labor of hands. Now, food comes from information. Your meal this morning was designed by an algorithm that knows you better than you know yourself. It assessed your needs and delivered precisely what you required. No excess, no deficiency, no guesswork. It's perfect, in a way that nature never was. But perfection has a cost. You just haven't figured out what it is yet. You're not alone in this. That becomes clear when you step outside. The streets are full, as they always are. People moving between buildings, between tasks, between moments, and all of them are carrying something. Not bags, not containers, just small, sleek packets that glow faintly at the seams. Personal nutrition packs, calibrated, timed, released throughout the day based on biometric feedback. No one eats meals anymore. Not really. Not the way they used to. You watch a woman pass by. She's young, maybe 20. She tears open a packet without looking, still walking, still talking into the air to someone you can't see. She drinks the contents in 3 swallows. The packet dissolves in her hand, breaking down into compostable dust that she brushes away without thinking. In 60 seconds, the nutrients will hit her bloodstream. In 10 minutes, her energy levels will stabilize. She'll never feel hungry. She'll never feel full. She'll just feel sustained. You keep walking. There's a communal space ahead, one of the few places where people still gather to eat together, not because they need to, because they want to, because somewhere deep in the human wiring, there's still a need for ritual, for shared experience, for the act of breaking bread even when bread is no longer bread. You step inside. The space is warm, soft lighting, low tables. People sit in clusters, talking quietly, their meals arranged in front of them. The food here looks different than what you eat at home. It's been shaped, textured, colored to resemble the meals of the past. You see something that looks like a steak, something that looks like pasta, something that looks like a layered cake with frosting, but none of it is what it appears to be. The steak is a matrix of plant and fungal proteins, structured to mimic muscle fiber, infused with heme iron synthesized from yeast. The pasta is extruded from lentil flour and spirulina, fortified with B vitamins that were once only found in animal products. The cake is held together with aquafaba and sweetened with compounds extracted from monk fruit, its flavor profile designed to trigger the same dopamine response as sugar without the metabolic cost. It's theater, culinary nostalgia, a performance of what eating used to be. You sit down, a server approaches, human, not automated. That's rare now, expensive. The experience of being served by another person has become a luxury, a deliberate choice to inject inefficiency into a system that has optimized everything else. She smiles. She asks what you'd like. You realize you don't know. She offers a suggestion. The heritage menu, she says, meals reconstructed from recipes that were popular 100 years ago. We use the same flavor compounds, the same textures. Some people say they can taste the difference. Some people say it helps them feel connected. Connected to what, you wonder? To the past, to a time when food was dangerous, unpredictable, unequal. When some people ate too much and others starved. When animals were raised in suffering and slaughtered by the billions. When the act of feeding humanity was destroying the planet that sustained it. You order the heritage menu. The meal arrives. It's beautiful, arranged with care. It smells like memory. You take a bite, and for a moment, you're somewhere else. A table surrounded by people, laughter, the clatter of silverware, the warmth of a kitchen. The sense that this moment matters because it's finite, because it took time, because someone made it with their hands. But that's not true. Not here, not now. This meal was assembled in seconds. No hands touched it. No animal died for it. No field was harvested. It's a simulation of connection, a carefully engineered experience designed to make you feel something that no longer has a basis in reality. And yet you do feel it. You chew slowly. Around you, others are eating too, talking, smiling, sharing stories. The content of the food has changed, but the ritual remains. The need to gather, the need to pause, the need to acknowledge that nourishment is more than chemistry, that eating is more than survival. It's meaning, or at least it used to be. You finish your meal. The plate is taken away. It will be broken down, its components recycled, reused, reformed into tomorrow's meals for someone else. Nothing is wasted, nothing is lost, except maybe the question itself. What are we really eating, and who are we becoming because of it? You return home as the light fades. Not real light, the simulation of dusk projected across the sky by atmospheric screens that filter the haze and render something close to beauty. You've heard that in some parts of the world, people can still see actual sunsets, unfiltered, unenhanced. You wonder if they look different, if they feel different, if the knowledge that something is real changes the way you experience it. You step inside. The counter is waiting. It always is. You place your hand on the panel again, and this time, the reading takes longer. Your cortisol levels are elevated. Your microbiome is shifting. You're carrying tension in your shoulders, tightness in your jaw. The system notes all of it. It adjusts. Tonight's meal rises from the counter. It's darker than this morning, richer. The aroma is deep, almost primal. There are compounds in this dish designed to calm you, tryptophan precursors, magnesium chelates, adaptogens harvested from fungi that no longer grow in the wild but thrive in the controlled environments of cultivation labs. It knows you need rest. It knows you need release. You eat standing up. The flavor is overwhelming, savory, earthy, complex. It tastes like something you've never had before and something you've always known. There's comfort here, safety, the promise that your body will be cared for, that you'll wake tomorrow stronger, more balanced, more capable than you are right now. But there's something else too, a hollowness, a space where choice used to live. You didn't decide what to eat tonight. You didn't hunt for it, grow it, prepare it, or even select it from a menu. It was given to you based on data, based on optimization, based on a system that believes it knows what you need better than you do. And maybe it does. You set the dish down, empty now. The question that's been building all day finally surfaces, fully formed. If we've solved hunger, if we've created a system where everyone is fed, where no one suffers, where the planet is no longer being destroyed by the act of eating, why does it still feel like something is missing? Maybe it's the stories. Your ancestors ate animals they named. They harvested vegetables they planted. They broke bread they kneaded with their own hands. Every meal had a history, a context, a narrative that connected them to the earth, to each other, to the cycles of life and death that made existence possible. Now, your meals have no stories, only data, but perhaps that's the trade. Perhaps the price of survival at this scale is the loss of narrative. Perhaps efficiency and meaning can't coexist. Perhaps the only way to feed 9 billion people every day without destroying everything is to let go of the romance and accept the algorithm. You walk to your window one last time. The city glows, millions of people in millions of rooms, eating meals designed by systems that will never know their names. And yet they're alive, healthy, free from the diseases that once ravaged populations, free from the hunger that once defined entire regions, free from the guilt of knowing that their survival came at the cost of suffering. This is the future, not the one anyone imagined, not the one anyone wanted, but the one that became necessary. You place your hand on the glass, and you realize something. The food itself hasn't changed what it means to be human. You still gather, you still share, you still seek connection, even when connection is harder to find. The substance of your meals is different, but the hunger beneath them is the same. The need to belong, the need to matter, the need to believe that this life, this strange, efficient, optimized life, still holds something worth savoring. That's the real question, isn't it? Not what you eat, but what you're feeding. The body is simple. It needs proteins, fats, carbohydrates, micronutrients. It needs energy. The system provides all of that perfectly, endlessly, but the soul, if that's the word, needs something else. It needs meaning. It needs stories. It needs the feeling that what sustains you is connected to something larger than survival. And maybe that's what you build now. New stories, new rituals, new ways of finding meaning in a world where the old definitions no longer apply. Maybe the future isn't about returning to what was. Maybe it's about discovering what comes next. You step back from the window. If this story resonated with you, if it made you think about what we're building toward, leave a like. Subscribe if you want to explore more futures with me. And drop a comment. Tell me what you think we'll be hungry for in 2126, not just in our bodies, but in our lives. The meal is over, but the conversation is just beginning. You turn off the light. The room responds, dimming gradually, easing you toward rest. Tomorrow you'll wake again, the ceiling will glow, the counter will wait, and you'll eat what the system knows you need. And maybe, just maybe, you'll find a way to make that enough.